Hello Darts Nutz. As you can see, I'm going to do a review of the brand new out Winmau Blade 5 dual core dartboard. The main thing that's been changed on this board is the spider, and what they've done is they increased the scoring areas. It says 14% reduction in web surface area, thinner DSW and radial wires, reduced blade angle, 20% increase in tensile strength, hardened bullseye and 25 ring. So not only has the spider been changed, it's also been made a little bit stronger, and as it's the dual core, it's still got the two layers of sisal. You've got the slightly softer top layer which allows the darts to penetrate easy, and then the slightly denser bottom layer which keeps hold of the darts, and has a little graphic on the back showing you the things that have changed. It says a 9mm square extra on the doubles and 6mm square extra on the trebles. The blade has been altered in its angle, and it's gone from a 90-degree angle to a 60-degree angle, and that graphic on there illustrates it quite well, but we'll have a look at that when I show you the board. And like I said, they've increased the strength of the bullseye, which is pretty good for the people who play cricket in America. Hopefully it should make the bullseye last better. It says new bullseye in 25 ring featuring carbon diffusion technology for an ultra hard surface, allowing dart points to glide past the angled rings into the board for improved performance and durability. And the board still has the rotor lock wheels on, which let you adjust the board while it's set up and helps you level it out against the wall. Inside you've got the little instruction pamphlet, and you've got your normal brackets and screws and the little rotor lock wheels. Right, I'll just do a quick look at the board, then I'll do a detailed close-up. On the first impressions, it looks very similar to the Blade 4 dual core. It's got the same very deep blacks, reds and greens, very nicely inked, no blemishes that I can see. Obviously it's got a Blade 5 graphic now, but everything else looks pretty much the same. It's got the traditional round wire white coated ring which clips off the brackets. You probably won't see straight away by looking at it, but as soon as I run my hand over it I can tell the spider is a lot flusher to the surface of the board, which is what I prefer actually. Obviously the wires are thinner, which is one of the main new features of the board. I'm not sure whether the sisal has been made a little bit different. It kind of feels a little bit harder, but it's hard to be sure because I can't quite remember exactly what the B4 was like now when it was brand new. But looks very nice, very clear. All the inking is nice and neat. All the edges where the spider's cut into the surface, there's very little raggy edges. I can't really see much, just a tiny little bit there and just a little bit in the corner, but it's never going to be 100% perfectly straight, but it's all nice and neat around the bullseye. Right, here's a close look at the board. There's the Blade 5 logo. I've got a very slight dint on that wire there. I think it's probably where the spider's been pressed. It's not broke, it's just a very slight nick. But as you can see, the inks on the segments are nice and full. There's no like major blemish that I can see. The blacks and the reds are very deep, and there's the brackets for the traditional wire numbering, and the bullseye looks very nice and centered. Obviously you can't really tell just by looking at it that it's made of any different metal, or the metal's been made differently. Still kind of looks pretty much the same in that regard, but I'm sure you can see that the spider is a lot thinner. You should be able to see that. I think that's made the spider quite a lot better myself. I'll show you the Blade 4 just to compare it. This is the Blade 4. Sticks up more, and obviously it's not a huge amount, but it is noticeable. And as you can see, the wires themselves are quite a bit thicker. Bullseye, you can't really tell much difference, although I think the bullseye in the Blade 5 is more flush. I'll just go back to the Blade 5. See, I think it's a very neat spider. It was a good spider in any case. It's always been a decent spider, but I think they've improved it now by making it a little bit flusher to the board. Obviously there's always going to be a debate about having these bigger segments, but that's the way the game's gone now. The regulations state that the measurement should be 10mm from the apex of the wire to the apex. I'll just measure the bullseye first. Get it right in. I'll have to do it this way first so I can get right on the edge. Right, so that is 12.02. That's 7.5 there. Just a little bit off centre there, so that's 7.9. 7.9 and 7.9. I'll just measure that again just in case I didn't get right in. Yeah, so just a tiny little bit off there. Yeah, I'd say it's about 9.3mm. And the treble seems a little bit bigger. See if I got it right on the edge of the wire. Yep. Yeah, it's just a little bit bigger. 9.53. Right, the board's all set up now. I've got the rotor lock wheels all fixed up, so the board's nice and steady, doesn't move at all. I'm just going to throw 3 different weights. I've got a 28 gram, 22 gram, and I think these are a 24 gram. Slightly different shapes as well. I'm just going to throw them around the board just to see how it sounds. The 28 gram hasn't penetrated much more than the other two. Obviously I can't fully test the wear of the board. That's something that takes time to test, and you can't do that in a review. Now these are more my normal weight, and when they're hitting the board they obviously sound quieter than what that 28 gram does. I'm just looking at the awls. Can't really see them so much on the black. I can see that one there. So that 28 gram in, it's penetrating probably half an inch. But I'm not a really hard thrower anyway, but I am trying to throw it a little bit harder. Like I say, obviously it takes time to see how the board wears. Now that one I threw probably the hardest, and it's almost gone up to the nose of the barrel, probably about 3mm away, and it seems harder to pull out. Well, I've just given that a rub with my finger and the hole has disappeared. Now I've tried to throw these harder, but it doesn't seem to have much effect with the lighter darts. Obviously the heavier dart, it's got its own momentum with it being so much heavier. This sounds pretty much even all the way around. No matter where I'm throwing the dart, the sound level is pretty much the same. Definitely looks like it heals better on the blacks. I can see that green one there. I can see the white ones a little bit. Surface is a bit squeaky. It's cut nice and flush though. One other thing that I won't be able to test is how good the wiring is, but I'll do a report in a month's time just to see how it's getting on. I think I hit the wire on that one. There's no nick on it. I'll show you a close-up of the board after I've threw a few more. I'll just fast forward it now. I'll throw as many darts as I can and fast forward it. Alright, I've thrown quite a few lots of darts there. I'm not sure exactly how many, but I've thrown it pretty much all around the board, so we'll have a close look at it now. Right, let's see. I think most of the holes that are visible have probably been caused by the heavy darts, but obviously not all of them. Definitely see some holes, so it doesn't heal up instantly, which I don't really expect it to, but I definitely think it feels a little bit different than what the Blade 4 did. Could be maybe just because it's new, but I'm not sure whether it feels as soft as what the Blade 4 dual core did, so if that's the case then maybe the holes may not close up as well, but we'll see as it progresses. On the black sections it's a little harder to see the holes, but you can see them, and a little bit on the reds, and they show up on the greens well enough, and definitely show up on the whites. So at the moment I'm quite happy with it. Feels nice to throw on, but obviously the test remains to see how well it wears. If it lasts as well as what the Blade 4 dual core is, then I'll be very happy, because I think this new Spider's a lot better. I much prefer the fact that it's flusher to the surface. Like I said, there'll always be debates about the increased sizes of the doubles and the trebles. For some reason it seems as if the treble ring is slightly bigger than the double ring, so it'll be interesting to see what effect that has on the pro players. Whether it makes their averages go up a little bit remains to be seen. But that's the Blade 5 dual core. Retails for £45, which is a pretty decent price for a board like that. And that's the end of the review. Thanks for watching.